So we were looking at we finished the letter from the tshuva from Rabbi Aaron Horn aired, and what he had called kinasa emes, the zealousy for truth. He had called the letter that, as if it was sort of a small book. And then this is the letter that we started from the Chassam Sofer, Moshe Sofer Pressburg, who writes this letter to the Hamburg Bezdin to be included in the book of the Hamburg Bezdins, Eila Divrei Hebris. And basically what it is he's forwarding a letter that he got from Rabbi Chorin recanting what he said. I assume that since the letter went to the Chassam Sofer had originally sent him a letter forcing him to recant. It'd be nice to find that letter. Well, I don't think we have it. And we had started this, and the Chassam Sofer introduces it by saying, here's a letter from Rabbi Aaron Chorin, and he has recanted everything that he said, and he has nullified the tshuva that he wrote in Nogat Tzedek, which he called Kinat HaEmet. And we were trying to read it closely to get a sense of what the beginning paragraph is from Rabbi Moshe Sofer, the Chassam Sofer. And then parts of it are from Rabbi Aaron Chorin. It's a little bit hard to tell what's what here. This paragraph definitely is from Rabbi Aaron Chorin. And remember, later on, Rabbi Chorin is going to write a rejoinder to this in another book that he publishes. And he's going to claim that the Chassam Sofer did really kind of edited his own letter and didn't print all of it. And so the Chassam Sofer says, I sent this letter I forwarded the letter of Rabbi Chorin to a few people, and now I'm sending it to you. Poshalachti lachem atik. I'm sending you a copy of the letter that the Rabbi Reuben wrote. Sorry, he says there's another letter which the older rabbi of Oben wrote to Rabbi Aaron Chorin rebuking him, and that he's not reprinting that because he doesn't want to embarrass him. And then, so he's claiming, the Chassam Sofer is claiming that there was this other rabbi that took Rabbi Aaron Chorin to task, the older rabbi of Oben, and that the response of Rabbi Aaron Chorin is what's being reprinted here. And then we said, now it's a little bit hard to understand. The big letters, the bold print is definitely from Rabbi Aaron Chorin. The question is, and that's in this paragraph. In this paragraph, the question is who wrote this? Because he writes in the second paragraph, Shagam Kimada Amar Hamaskim, Sefer Nogat Tzedek Chozim B'Davar. He says the Rabbi Aaron Chorin, that wrote what he wrote in Nogat Tzedek has recanted, and he has bent his head like a reed before the wise of Israel, before the rabbis. And V'zeh Ha'atik, and this I'm reprinting Misof Igrato Shel Harav. I'm reprinting the end of his letter where he recants. And he gave me permission, and he's not embarrassed of it. So that's this paragraph. Now the question is, what's this paragraph? So this seems to be more the Chassam Sofer kind of taking words from Rabbi Chorin and saying his own paragraph. Milsa kvar omri ima sefer parichad lahaskim al kama dechasm first la'el hadvar matikim karim mutseket v'yatzmi pitzadikim. He's saying that I agree with everything published in the book by the rabbis of Hamburg, to forbid to change any custom, whether in prayer or within reading the Torah, unless all the rabbis get together and agree. and that it's not fitting for anybody to separate from the congregation to make their own path. So that seems to be kind of an introduction to it from Rabbi, from the Chassam Sofer. And then this, the Chassam Sofer saying, is a paragraph that he lifted from the letter of Rabbi Chorin with permission to republish. And here it is. Amnam ata shamati, nevertheless, and you can see it sounds like it's starting in the middle. I mean, there's no introduction to the letter here. There's no salutation. Amnam ata shamati gigam bebrachas tfilos yet no migrat. I've heard that even in brachas and in prayer, there isn't migrat. Disadvantage. But the lo yipalu al kibbutz galiotenu, they're not praying for the redemption. In other words, they've taken out the parts of the Amidah that are about the redemption. Asher emuna zu ikar v'yisod Torah kedosha. How could they? And that's a main part of our Torah. That's a main belief in our Torah. Mishanim nuschos hatfilah, and they're changing. The reformer changing the language of prayer. Ani kore olai v'hamaskala zot tachat yad. This enlightenment is coming from you, I guess. I'm saying about myself that I'm partly responsible for this. And therefore, I say publicly, I say that all of my words that I wrote in Kinara Emet, which is the name of his Teshuvah that we just read, is nullified. Ubar min din lo adon ani badavar v'lahorot. And I'm not enough of a scholar, I guess he's saying, to halachically make decisions. Who is in charge? The answer, he says, is the wise of Israel, the sages, who are in our time. And my thoughts, my understanding, in the face of their understanding, is like nothing. Kod divarai haba al hachatom pe erd. These are my words, and I seal them here in the city of Erd on the second day, on Monday, the 13th of Shvat. Now, here's what's interesting. The Seder literally means to the order of, but it usually means the year. And the year is generally defined by quoting a verse from the Torah, and certain letters are in bold, or phrases in bold. And if you add up the numerical value of those letters, you get what the year is. We saw one in his original letter. He signs the year, and we were trying to figure out what's the significance of that, because you could quote a lot of things. Now, sometimes it's the letters that make up the year. Sometimes it's just a verse from that parsha. So this probably is the Seder, probably is the parsha of Mizbach Adam Atasali. Let's see, Kislev Teves Shvat, and this would be in Mishpatim. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it would be Yisro Mishpatim. So that could work. That's probably right. So it's probably Parshas Mishpatim. And he's quoting, so he could quote any verse from Parshas Mishpatim, right? Because that's the week that it is. But he quotes this verse, and he bolds certain words. And so we want to ask ourselves why. He didn't have to. So he quotes the verse, Mizbach Adam Atasali, build for me a altar of dirt, v'zavachta alav olasecha v'eshlemecha, and sacrifice upon it your sacrifices and your shlamim and your offerings. Let's just check the date. Gimel Shvat 1819. 1819 is probably it's probably February. Let's see. Yeah. 1819 February. Okay, so let's see. Yud Gimel Shvat is a Monday, indeed. It's February 8th, 1819. And the parsha that week is Yisro. So this is the end of Parshas Yisro. That's right. This is the end of Parshas Yisro. It's not much fun. I was wrong. So after the Ten Commandments are given, the Torah says, the Torah at the end of Parshas Yisro says, an altar of dirt. If you want to bring a sacrifice, bring it on an altar of dirt. Don't use hewn stones. Now, but look what he does here, right? He picks this pasuk. He could have quoted any pasuk from Parshas Yisro. He picks from the end of the parsha, Mizbach Adonai, make for me an altar of dirt, and sacrifice upon it your sacrifices. But look what he bolds. He bolds, right? Li v'zavachta alav, right? Me, you have sacrificed upon it. So it's obvious that that as much as, and it's funny, the Chassam Sofer left that in there. I guess because he wants to have the last paragraph where there's a total recanting. I don't know if Chassam Sofer didn't see the significance of this, but it seems clear to me that there's a forked tongue here. He recants, and at the same time, the verse that he quotes from the week's parsha is, make an altar and sacrifice on it, and the letters that he bolds are li v'zavachta alav, right? You have sacrificed, you're sacrificing me. That's what you're doing. That's what it seems like. Now, this is the words of Chassam Sofer after he has admitted and nullified all of his words that he had written in Nogat Tzedek. Va'emet ad la'atzmo va'arichot echlem motar hareini chosin bebracha. So since he's recanted everything, I give him my blessing. Okay. And here, Pressburg, the 2nd of Adar, 1819. Okay, so that's the letter that's quoted by the Chassam Sofer from him. Now let's look at is it a rejoinder to this? And he publishes a book. Rabbi Aaron Horn publishes a book not long after this called Davar B'Ito. This is front page of Davar B'Ito. He's got two gates within it, the gate of Torah and the gate of service. To my brethren, the Bnei Israel, who know Hebrew, B'sfat Ashkenazi, in Ashkenazic Safa, which is interesting. From Aaron Harner, it's published in Wien, in Vienna, Strauss, 1820. So this is just after that. Okay, and this is page 31 of this book. Ata, Aniti b'sefer divrei Eila Habris. I said in the book Eila Habris, Nidfas b'Hamburg b'Shana Ha'avra, in last year, it was published in Hamburg. Sham, no, it wasn't actually. It was published in Dessau. Maybe it's near Hamburg, I don't know. Sham Siman Zion Avar Chaf Beis. It was Siman Zion, page Chaf Beis. Kasa b'Shem Ish Echad. sorry. All right, no, Elah Bris is the book of the Hamburg Bezdin. So he says in the book by the Hamburg Bezdin, right? He originally wrote his letter in Nogat Tzedek. So the Divrei Bris is what we just read. So he says there in Siman Zion, page 22, it's written in the name of one man, a certain man. Lo esesh shemo sfatay lo aten shemo l'cherpa. I won't tell you who it is because I don't want to, diss him. I don't want to make him look bad. V'zel shono. Alzeh yadvu kol haduyim kol shamea chatzilena aznav v'hem nishanim al mishanat kina ratzon hu chibur echad nikra nogat tzedek shenidfas b'desau b'li haskamas chaver yir. Shamna, let's just see if this is his letter. Siman Zion, page. So it's not. Let's go to Siman Zion, page. See what he's referring to here. Oh, this is Vav. Page Chaf Bet is right here. It's fine. This is a final Chaf. It's very strange. It looks like a Vav, but it's a Zion. And this is a letter from Rabbi Eliezer Nero. And he criticizes here, obviously, the book by the Hamburg Bezdin. Now, why he's quoting that, I'm not sure. Let's see. Because of Shem Ishachad. He says there's this book Nogat Tzedek, which was printed in Dessau without any approbations. Shamnamar Psak Me'ezer Rav B'Vedinas Italia, Shehiter Lomer Lizamer Be'ergo B'Shabbos, and he writes there that in Nogat Tzedek, there's a certain rabbi in Italy who says you can use an organ on Shabbos. Aidei Eno B'nei Yisrael Levad, through a non-Jew. Aval Harav, right? So Aval Harav Be'erd, but the rabbi of Erd, Rabbi Chorin, Al Haklal Kula Yotza Lahatir B'Lifratz Geter Al Harishon. He goes much, and he's quoting this rabbi from the book by the Hamburg Bezdin. And he says that rabbi writes that, the rabbi from Italy said it's okay to use an organ, but the rabbi of Erd, Rabbi Chorin, went all out. He broke through all the boundaries. He has taken himself out, Rabbi Chorin, by what he writes in Nogat Tzedek. He's taken him out of our community. And so he's writing about me that I have broken through the boundaries of the Torah. Yileti kilikol la'ochal naso gamli lev kamohu lo kufal anochi mimenu. All right, I've looked through this a little bit more, but basically, what's going on, just to understand the structure, is there's this right. You have the original letters. You have the Hamburg Bezdin's response, and then here he's going to talk a little bit about the criticism that's leveled at him by the people who wrote in the book by the Hamburg Bezdin, and he's also going to talk a little bit about the Chassam Sofer and the way that the Chassam Sofer quoted his own letter, and that he did not quote it the way it should have been quoted. So we'll see sort of back and forth. I'll review this and we'll get a better sense of it. Okay. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Thanks, Rabbi.